Hi, now we are going to talk about the callable. So it's an object that be called with this parenthesis, So this is like small bracket opening and closing, right? And this callable always return a value. We can check if that particular object is callable or not. For that, we have this callable functions. So all the function and method both are callables. So let's check that whether this print function is callable or not. We know that it is a function and it returns some value. So it's a callable, right? And then we have this callable direct function. So let's call this. We are getting true. Let's check with the length function. So true. Now here we are creating a list. Let's check the append method of the list. Because this is a method, it will return some value. So it's a callable, right? Let's check about the upper function, upper method. It's a callable, right? So callable always returns a value. Now here what we're trying to do is we are trying to print hello, and then which is giving you the result, and then we are again trying to print the result. So what we are getting? We are getting none. Why? Because result is not callable. Print is callable, but whatever the getting in the result, right? That is a string which is not callable. So we are getting none, right? But here we have this list. We are appending the value. Then we are storing that list, appended list into the result. Now let's try to print the result and the L both. So here we have printed the result, which is none, right? Because this result itself is not a callable. But here, because this append method was callable, so it is returning a value. Here as well, this print function was returning a value because this print was callable. Here also we can check that we are getting the result ABC because the upper function was giving the result as a capital ABC because upper method was callable. Classes are callable too. Like over here, we are importing the decimal class from the decimal modules. And now let's try to check whether this decimal is callable or not. We are getting true. Now let's try to check the result of the decimal. So here we have this 10.5. So this is how we create the decimal value, right? And the class instance may be callable. It can be callable and it cannot. So over here we have this my class, we have this init method, and then we have this call method. So again, class instance is what? This is an object, right? So what we're trying to do is when you create the class, my class, over here in the definition, in the init, we have initialized the counter value as 0, and then we have defined the call method, which is incrementing the counter value by 1 and printing the counter value. But again, because we have defined this call method over here, right? So whatever the object will be created, that object will be the callable. That object can be called. So let's try to see this in action. Here we have this. Now let's try to create the instance. So the instance is my object from the my class. Now let's try to check whether this init is callable or not. It is because it's a method. Now let's try to check whether this call is callable or not. It is because we can call it. Now let's try to check the object itself, whether this object is callable or not. So here, so first, what we're trying to do is we are just trying to check the value of my object. Again, we are trying to check the value of the second value of the my object, which is 2. We can also pass this my object 10, right? Here, when you pass this, we are getting 12. Now let's try to check callable. Here we're getting true because here we have not just created an object, we are just calling the object because this call method has been implemented, and that's the reason it's a callable object, right? Yeah, this is it. Thank you.